Praise God, it's finally happened. In all the years I've passed out tracts, not once has a Jehovah's Witness received a tract from me. Remember, they're forbidden to take any literature until now. Would you like to hear what happened? Well, it's still fresh in my mind. Hi, I'm David Daniels from Chick Publications. Fred Carter, the artist of my Chick tracts, some of Jack's, and all the comic books and most of the movie This Was Your Life, was standing outside the Chick-fil-A. That's the same one that Jack and I went to for years. He was being talked to by a gentleman. I guessed right away he was a Jehovah's Witness. He was talking about being prepared when disaster strikes. He started to quote a Bible verse, but out of habit, after I heard him finish it, I repeated it correctly from the King James Bible. He wasn't put off by it. Honestly, I just couldn't hear it incorrectly. That way I got to quote God's words in English of Acts 4:12, 2 Chronicles 16:9-8, and a few other verses. Some of them I added in myself, affirming what he said about Jesus being king in the end. I knew where he was going, but in my heart of hearts, I kept hearing, "Let him speak." So I smiled, took a breath, and listened. He was moving from being ready for natural disasters to being ready for the coming kingdom. And the fact that God prophesied that it is coming, the end, and that we cannot hope in various things that people say we can make great again. He pointed out articles in his Awake magazine and said he was performing a public service. He said that a few times, talking with people and helping them to think about God and coming events. And I didn't feel threatened at all. When he said something that I actually agreed with, I was able to nod and keep smiling, realizing that the Lord is in charge and I don't have to be threatened or intimidated. He asked if we'd like to read some more articles in his magazine, which he was providing as a public service. Very polite gentleman. When there was an opening, not interrupting, mind you, I asked his name. And I pulled out, "I see you," out of my pocket. I said, "I'm David and this is Fred. Here's what we do. I'll make you a trade. I'll read yours if you read mine." He said, again, very politely, "Well, it's not about making a trade," and his voice trailed off. But as he said that, he took the tract from my hand. He turned it over, and I said, "Fred illustrated it, and I wrote it. Our names are on it. It's about how people are worried about people watching them all the time, and about how God watches us all." He looked at it, put it with his stuff, and continued to talk. Again, in my heart of hearts, I heard, "Let him talk." "Okay," I said in my heart to the Lord. I didn't try to impose anything on him. He went on about another article in the Awake issue, and in my heart, I felt God's protection. I have the truth. I'm not threatened by seeing what his religion puts out. He showed the article on war and whether God takes sides in war today. He gave his entire spiel from beginning to end. When we finished, I asked his name again and again told my name, shook his hand. Fred told his name and shook the man's hand. I spelled it out loud to make sure I got it correctly. And he went on. Fred and I got in the car, and I was so moved and excited that Fred and I began to pray for that man. We prayed he would read the tract, that he would not throw it away, that he would read it in a safe space, that God would touch his heart, and that he would consider the truth. And we both rejoiced. He took the tract. For weeks, I wanted to talk to you about the principle that has absorbed me about letting people win the argument. What good does it do if you win the argument, but they don't take the tract? Then you've basically lost. Because the missionary that witnesses to the scriptures doesn't go with them. But if you don't try to win, but let them talk, and finish their whole spiel, but they take the tract from you, then you've won. The gospel of Jesus Christ, way more powerful than we could ever be, goes with them. Please let me remind you from God's holy words. Romans 1:16-17. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to every one that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith. As it is written, the just shall live by faith. May God touch your hearts to take a step of faith and let that Jehovah's Witness or whoever speak, but offer in exchange with them a gospel tract. You may seem to lose the battle, but actually win the war. Please remember the lost and keep your pockets stuffed and empty them into people's hands. God bless you and have a wonderful day.